I welcome you to my tutorials. This tutorial is the fourth one in the series. And today it is on a topic, the morpheme. Some of us couldn't finish the topic on morpheme due to time. So I'm using the opportunity to use this platform to explain the concept to you so you can be prepared for the forthcoming examination. What is a morpheme? A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a language. In other words, when you take a word, you can break down the word into various units based on meaning. And I'll explain as we go along. You don't just split words anyhow. There should be a way by which the morphemes should be split or should be separated. And the basis for the separation is meaning. Remember that morphemes are different from syllables. Syllables just mean unit of pronunciation. But morphemes have to do with, if you like, unit of meaning or the basis upon which you divide a word. If you are talking about morphology, then it is based on meaning. So the smallest unit of meaning in a language, this smallest unit of meaning could be a word or a morpheme which doesn't have semantic content. Now, as you go along, I'll explain. So the study of morpheme is called morphology. Now, if you want to talk about the morpheme, we will be looking at free morpheme and bound morpheme. A free morpheme has meaning by itself, and it means that we can look it up in a dictionary. But most of the time, bound morphemes don't have meaning on their own, except that they are attached to a free morpheme. That is when their function or their designation or their meaning is made explicit. For example, here we have teach plus ER, which is teacher. So we can break teacher down to teach plus ER, where teach will be the smallest morpheme. In other words, you cannot break down the word teach. It's a single morpheme. As far as imparting knowledge is concerned, then the word teach cannot be broken down further. But teacher can be broken down at least into two morphemes where we have teach plus ER, so that the ER here is like, if you like, let's call it a noun forming morpheme, which also means the doer of an action. So the person who teaches is a teacher. Now, if you talk about goes, we can have go plus ES, where the ES is a grammatical morpheme. It has function. It has a function. In other words, it has meaning. And it denotes third person who does something habitually. So ES is third person and habitual tense. Worked here, we can have work plus ED, where the ED denotes past tense form. So all the words that we can see on the screen right now are two morphemes, like they made up of two morphemes. You may see something like root morpheme. The root morpheme is the first morpheme, others are added. As you saw in the case of teacher or goes or walked, the root morpheme, as you saw, could be teach is a root morpheme to which ER is added. Go is a root morpheme to which ER is added. Then walked. Walk is a root to which ed is added. The same way, when we come to this place, we can have national, where nation is the root to which we add al. Rearrange, we can have arrange being the root, so we add a prefix re or re to form another word. The base morpheme is also called the root morpheme, the base or the root. When you have a root, you can have other things added to the root, like stems. You can have stems and leaves. We talk about trees, trees. That is what sits first. Then you add other things onto it. Now, but these terms are intertwined in a way. Lexical morpheme and grammatical morpheme. If the thing is lexical, it simply means words. Lexical means word. Lexical morpheme means word, basically. All the examples that we saw earlier are all lexemes. For example, teach is a word, so it's a lexeme. Or lexical, it has lexical content. Walk is a word. So what is a lexical morpheme? It has semantic content. Semantic content means that it has meaning. I think this explanation has to come between a word and a morpheme which doesn't have a meaning. For example, when we talk about work plus ed, the ed doesn't have semantic content because you cannot just go to the dictionary and look up the word ed and get a meaning. I don't think so. But if you talk about work, you can have proper definition. Probably somebody taking steps, moving from one place to another. Or if you take like go plus es may not have any semantic content, as in to be defined, except that it is added to a verb, then it makes meaning. So when we talk about lexical morpheme, we are talking about words basically. And grammatical morphemes they perform grammatical functions. They perform grammatical functions. In other words, it is when those morphemes are used in sentences or they are added to either root or base morphemes, then their functions become explicit. That is, they make meaning. So here we have grammatical morphemes like and, but, with. What it means is that actually it is when and but is used in a sentence to show maybe contrast or addition of items, then the function actually comes clear for us to see. Otherwise, when we see and like the way we see it will not make meaning. But if you see a word like boy, as you can see on the screen now, it makes more meaning because boy could mean male, probably below the age of 18. Yes, it's a human being. Is a male below the age of 18. So you are beginning to make meaning, as in you begin to visualize, begin to see what it means. But if you say and, actually it is not so meaningful as compared to something like boy. And could have many functions. So the specific grammatical function it will perform depends on its use in a structure. Talking about bound morphemes, bound morphemes, Generally, we're going to have two categories of bound morphemes. We're going to have prefixes and suffixes, making bound morphemes. Basically, the umbrella name is affixes. So let's look at this. Prefixes normally come before the root or the main word. Prefix, as you can see, to prefix, to fix it, prefix. They're going to fix it all right, but it should be pre. In other words, it comes before the root or the base. But the suffix comes at the end of the base. So now let's look at example of prefix: disapprove, dis plus approve, disapprove, and plus able, unable, plus happy, unhappy, deactivate, de plus activate, deactivate, ill plus regular, irregular. So here we can see example of suffixes. Suffixes as bound morphemes. Detestable, happiness, happily, amendable, criminal. Now, what this means is that all the morphemes which come after the dash, or the hyphen, do not make any complete meaning except that they are added to a root. They are added to a root. It is only then that they can make meaning. So able doesn't make any meaning except that it is added to something. Ness will make meaning only if it is added to something, so that maybe happiness. So you know that happiness is a noun. So that ness in this context helps us to form a noun by being added to an adjective, happy. Happily, the ly or ly is added to happy to form happily. Amend, able is added to amend to get amendable. Crime, plus now, criminal. So all the words on the left hand side are the roots. But note that in the case of in trying to form another word by adding a syllable, a morpheme, the original roots may be altered. For example, see happy. Happy, which ends in y, when it is added to ly, then we're gonna have y there anymore. The y will change to I or a. So, for example, if you are asked to break down the word happiness in the examination, You should have happy plus ness. You have the root. You must always target to get a root. If you are not able to get a root, then you may not get it correct. You must try to get the root of the word. Happily. You would have happy plus ly. And also means that if you're asked to break down the word happily, you must have happy plus ly or ly, which is the root plus ly. If you are asked to break down the word criminal, you should have crime plus now. I know that you'll be confused about the I which comes after M, but that is it. See, when you have crime plus now, when you want to form it's a criminal, you want to form criminal, we don't maintain the E. We don't maintain the E, we introduce I. That's a change. But if you have a word criminal, you're supposed to break it down into the various components. Remember that it should be crime plus now, not creamy plus now. Crime plus now. Now, here we can see suffixes. Basically performing grammatical functions. Suffixes performing grammatical functions. Let's look at this. The ing in going is a progressive marker. It's functioning as a progressive marker. In other words, ing doesn't have semantic meaning. S in this case doesn't mean anything except that it is added to a particular word. And in this context, it's added to boys to make it plural. But look closely to this one, buys. The S in this case is not plural because the word is a verb. The first word there is boy, is a noun. But here this second word is a buy, which is what? A verb. Therefore, the S added to buy is not plural. It's what? Third person singular, and it marks habitual tense. He goes to school every day. He buys food from us every week. She buys food from this shop every day. Buys, third person, singular, in habitual tense. So the S that we see in the case of boys may not be the same, doesn't have the same designation as S in buys. Whilst that of boy is plural, this one is a third person. Then we have ER in eater. Eater. The eater is a noun forming morpheme, which means doer of an action, if you like. So the person who eats is the eater. There's all an entity. Eats is the eater, the doer of an action. So we're back to root and base morpheme. The first morpheme or word to which other morphemes are added. This is just kind of emphasis. Now look at the word unfaithfulness. Unfaithfulness could be broken down into on plus faith plus for plus ness, where the root is equal to faith. What it means is that faith cannot be broken down any further. You may want to argue that it could be like FAI, but the fact is, what does FAI mean? And if you want to separate it from TH, what does TH mean? And what does FAI mean? What it means is that if you break this word down further in English language, you're not going to obtain any meaning. So it has come to a particular point where the word must maintain its posture as it is. So the first morpheme to which others are added is the root or the base. Now, there are two categories of morphemes which will be referred to as inflectional or derivational. To inflect means that the thing changes its form. See, it inflect, changes its form. Derivation means to derive something from something. So it's a process of deriving a word from another word, where we add a morpheme to another root word to form that word. So inflectional morpheme is equal to it performs purely grammatical functions. All of them occur as suffixes. All of them occur as suffixes. Consider the case: boy, boys. And one of the things that we need to remember is that in the case of inflectional morphemes, the original word, which is on the left-hand side, when it inflects or something is added to it, it doesn't change the word class. So boy is a noun, boy is still a noun. So the S there is plural. Kofi is a noun. Kofis is a possessive marker. Still, Kofis is a noun. Buy is a verb. Buys, a third person singular. So you have buys. The buys is also a verb, just as buy is a verb. Poor is an adjective. Poorer, still an adjective. So the addition of er to poor doesn't change the word class. It expresses the comparative form. In other words, it expresses comparison. Poor to poorest. Poor is an adjective. Poorest is an adjective. And the superlative form, both are adjectives. Eat and eating. The ing added to it marks a progressive form of the verb. Both are verbs. Talk and talked. The ed added to talk is a past tense form, but both of the forms are verbs. Speak. Speak and spoken. So here we have changed the word form by we replace ea by o and add en, which is a past participle form of the verb. But the en doesn't change the word class. Both forms of the verb both forms of the word form are verbs. So these are inflectional morphemes. They are all suffixes. If you look at it, they are all suffixes. The plural form, the possessive form, the third person form, the comparative form, the superlative form, the verb, the progressive marker of the verb, the past tense form of the verb, the past participle form of the verb. They are all inflectional morphemes. Now, all other morphemes that are not inflectional could be referred to as derivational morphemes. derivation comes from the word derive. They help to derive new words that change the parts of speech of the original word. In other words, derivational morphemes help to change the word class of the original word. Take, for example, able is an adjective. And then if you add en to it, you're going to get enable, which is a verb. Happy is an adjective. If you add ly to it, you're going to get happily, which is an adverb. Which is an adverb. So look for more examples yourself. I do not think that the examiner will be asking you to name derivational morpheme or inflectional morpheme. I don't think so. What you are going to see in examination, I will talk about it briefly. In any case, you need to know what are derivational morphemes and inflectional morphemes. Now, when you look at this particular set of morphemes, here we have category A, B, C. Category A has teacher, player. Category B has poorer, richer. Category C has fever and water. Now, teacher, player, poorer, richer, fever, water. If you look at category A, they are nouns. In category B are adjectives. Category C are also nouns. But let's go to the next slide to analyze what is here. You see that I can break down the word teacher into teach plus ER and player into play plus ER. Now, the ER in this context, in the category A words, are what? They denote the expression, the doer of an action, the doer of, so that the doer of teaching is a teacher. The doer of playing or the person who plays is a player. If you come to the second category, poor plus poorer, rich plus richer, here the ER doesn't mean the same thing as you saw in the case of category A words. ER in this context means more of the quality of. So that when you have somebody who has if they say this room is dark, if you go to a particular place and the room is darker, or this place is bright, then this picture is bright, you're gonna get another picture which is brighter, more of the quality of. So in this case, the quality of brightness, one thing has it more than the other. So more of the quality of. So even though both of the two categories of words have ER, AR, their designations are different, their meanings are different. Now, if you come to the category 3 words. Category 3 words, fever and water. It's going to be difficult for us to split this into morphemes. Because when we refer to meaning or we want to talk about meaning, then how are we going to split this? That's going to be difficult. Whether phi or phi plus va or fev plus er, and whether fev has a meaning in English. So if fev doesn't have a meaning, then why are we going to split the word into those morphemes? So if you look at category C, the words are single morphemes, even though they appear to look like those on the left-hand side, or category A and B words, these ones are just single morphemes. Water is one single morpheme. Fever is one morpheme. Now, so let's look at this category of words and how they are divided into their various morphemes. When you're giving something like amend, you're going to have amendment, because amend has meaning. Amend means to change something. Amendment, when we add meant to something, a verb, then we have a noun. So when you're giving a word like this, you're going to split it into amendment. Enable Can plus able. Booked. Book plus ed. Deactivated. This word is simple, but there's a lot of things there. When you separate D from activated, now when you separate D, the past tense morpheme also at the end, you're going to have activate. Activate. But when you take activate, remember that you can have active plus vate, active plus it. You're going to have active, which is a word in English, plus it. So you're going to split active. You're going to split activate into active plus it. Then the word active itself can also be split. You're going to have act plus IVE. So that the root in this case is act. The root is act. We must always attempt to get the root. Decriminalized. We are going to get D plus criminalized. But then when you get D plus criminalized, take D, the past tense morpheme away. Then you are going to have criminalized. That criminalized, you must get the root. So you're going to get crime plus AL plus lies, ised. Crime plus AL plus ised. So this is how it's supposed to be. Took, it should be take plus past tense or take plus ED. Now, let me explain a bit decriminalized. Decriminalized. So this is the word. Out of this word, decriminalized, I can split. Let me identify the first morpheme, which is D. So it's there. Then when I remove D, I can get criminalize. Criminalized. 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 Now here, let me separate let me take away the past tense morpheme. I'll take away the past tense morpheme. I'm going to get criminalize. When I get criminalized, I can get from this particular place, I can get about 3 words. So the 3 words are, I can get crime, I can get criminal, and I can get criminalized. So crime. Remember that I can also get criminal. So I must also get something like this. And I can also get criminalized. So I must also get IZE. So in effect, if you're supposed to mention all the various morphemes which make this word, then it should be D. Crime, null, comma, eyes, comma, then of course D, which is the past tense morpheme. This is the past tense morpheme. So that's how we look at a word like this. I hope that we will not have difficult words like this. We will not have more difficult words than this, but I think this can help you to be able to analyze any kind of complex words that you may encounter in the exam. Then let's look at some other examples which are not regular examples. For example, when you have men, it should be man plus s or man plus plural. If you have women, women should not be who plus men, no. It's woman plus s. Or you can also say woman plus plural. Children should not be child plus ren, no. It should be child plus s or child plus plural. Better is equal to good plus comparative. Or somebody can also say good plus ER. It's all right. Best is equal to good plus superlative or good plus EST. Then taken is equal to take plus EN or take plus past participle. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. In that case, try to subscribe and to like the video because I will bring a few more before the exam begins. I wish you well.